Hey, Marta, welcome back to Red Hot Mindset. I'm so glad you're joining us for Thursday Tidbits.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited for today. Last time we had Marta on, we talked about work-life balance. And if you didn't get a chance to check it out, go watch that episode or listen to the episode because you'll hear a little bit more of Marta's background and story as well. And I love her imperfect life balance. She does a blog and a YouTube channel all about balancing life and work. And so today we're talking time management, which we all could probably use more of that because we only have 24 hours in a day. No one else has more time, right? So it's all 24 hours. That's all we all get. And it's figuring out what to do in them and how to be intentional in them. I'd love for you, before we get started, Marta, if you can just share a little bit about how maybe you've struggled with time management in the past or in your own life and why this topic matters to you.
Sure. Well, I think time management, like you said, it's something that we're all struggling with from time to time. And I feel like as moms, that's another like a hot item for us. Because I mean, like you said, there's only so much time in a day, and you have, I mean, our to-do list is usually probably like a mile long every single day. And it's just about figuring out the best way for you to manage your time for for all the responsibilities that you have, because I'm sure they're all slightly different. But yes, I definitely struggle with it as a new mom, because I feel like I was just running from one thing to another, and it was never ending, and I never felt like I actually accomplished anything at the end of the day. So that's why I'm so passionate about managing time in a way that works for you and that really makes you feel accomplished at the end of the day versus just tired.
I love that. I think a lot of moms, I probably all of us are always looking for time management skills or tips, like what's the hack that's going to get me more time and what's going to be the best way for me to do these things. And I think you just hit on it. It's the intentionality. And because I'm one of those people who makes those long lists and then I only get through a few things and then I feel so bad because I'm like, what did I do with my day? But it's not that. I just had maybe too high of expectations. I don't know. But
Yeah.
so why do you think that understanding time management and how it works is important for us as women?
Because I think, one, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We Again, that comparison to other people. Well, they accomplished this and this that day. Sometimes I would, even myself, like years back, I would, if I had like a really productive like morning, I would post on social media, oh, I had I had done this much, and it's only like 9 a.m. And that happens like once in a blue moon, like, and then, but I'm so excited about it, I share. But somebody else who's looking at it, and they're like, well, if she can do it, why I must be lazy, I must not know how to manage my time. And it's not that at all. Like, it's so important to like understand that we need to manage our expectations, we need to be intentional, and that we need to give ourselves a lot of grace, because life happens. You can plan all you want, your kid might get sick, the school might call that you need to do something else, or your work just decides to assign you a project, and the whole to-do list can go out the window. So just managing the expectations, and just knowing it's not going to be perfectly done, and if you don't finish your to-do list, that is fine as well.
Yes, I love it. I did an episode a while back. So in homeschooling, we talk about a loop schedule, and it's kind of the whole we'll do science or history, things that are just extra things that I do reading, writing, and math every day, but the other things, I do probably once or twice a week, and I
Mhm.
put them on what's called a loop schedule. And if we didn't, whatever we're on, so okay, we're on science today. And then if we don't get to it the next day, then we'll just go to the next thing the next day. And we just kind of loop through it and we keep doing that. And I did an episode on doing that with even just our morning routines. And you could probably do that with your to do list. It's just kind of the whole thing. You just keep
Yes.
going and it's okay to stop and then just come back to it when you can or the next day. And I think we just, yeah, as moms, we put so much pressure on ourselves and we feel like a failure if we didn't get everything on that list done, even if we couldn't have. I mean, probably Superman couldn't have. So
Yep.
I think this is going to be so good for us today. I'm excited. So what I want you to do is take out your notebooks because I think you're going to want to take notes right now as Marta goes through these tips for us. I'm excited to hear about these. So what is one thing that we can do right now to help us with our time management, Marta?
So for me, it always has been planning. Like you have to have a plan for whatever that is. I noticed that the times I'm struggling the most with time management is if I didn't give myself enough time for that planning process. So whether that is a birthday for your child, whether that is right now we have Christmas coming up, whatever that is in your life or a project at work, like you have to plan ahead. Because if you plan ahead, you can develop some sort of like a schedule, a timeline for yourself as a baseline. You don't have to stick with it exactly how it is, but it gives you an idea. It gives you a baseline. And as you go through it, like for example, I will plan my week on a Sunday. And if something goes wrong on a Monday, I can just easily shift those things to the other days because I already have an idea how my week is going to look like. So it's nothing, earth shattering here, but you really have to plan ahead. Sit down once a week for the weekly planning, sit down once a month, see what's ahead. It's not going to take you a lot of time, and once you get used to it, it's going to be really quick, but it's going to get you that time so that you don't have to wait for the last minute to do something. If you give yourself enough time, you're going to be able to do it with so much less stress. I promise. It's so worth the few minutes each Sunday to set it aside and really think about what you have happening throughout the week.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, this is so relevant because I just watched a video of yours on a plan with me video where you took out your calendar, and I actually loved it because I love seeing how others plan, and it gives me these ideas of how I can do it and how I can do it better. And I love your idea of doing it, once a week, once a month, whatever it is that works for you. Which I do Sundays as well. And one thing I've learned in as I've started to do planning is I plan out my whole week and I put everything in there and I schedule things like an appointment. Even my runs, like my workouts are scheduled in there like an appointment. Of course, we have to allow for flexibility, but when I do that, then I can focus on the day and I can look at the day, even because I know everything else is planned. It's all good. And like you said, if something doesn't happen in my day or something, I can shift it. But when I focus just on that day, it makes me less stressed because I'm one who will get anxious about so many things on my plate. And as moms, we're probably busy. We're schooling or working or bringing kids to activities, and you just have so much in your head. So when you get it out of your head, it's easier to actually
Yeah.
do it. So I think that planning seems simple, but it's not simple all the
Yeah.
time. It's simple in the idea of it, but it's the getting it on the calendar that, yep, every week I'm going to sit down and I'm going to plan it out. I think that's definitely a good first step. So, what is your second time management tip for us?
Sure, we actually give it a nice segue with your last statement. So the next tip that I have for you is to do a brain dump.
Mm,
That is anytime you feel overwhelmed and you're like, I have so many things to do, I don't even know where to start. And I have been there so many times. Like it's like the end of the week and I have a lot of events happening next week. And it's just so overwhelming that your mindset is just, I can't do it. I don't know how I'm gonna get a handle of that. Get a piece of paper and just dump it all out. Just write. Don't even think about it. Just write everything that you think you need to do. It doesn't matter if you're going to get to it today. Don't even think about when you're going to do it. Just dump it on a paper. It is, I'm just amazed how great it makes me feel whenever I do that. Because then if it's on a paper, it's no longer in my head. Like it's amazing because what is happening if it's all in your head, you start, let's say, you start, I don't know, cleaning your bathroom. And all the time it's like, well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And you just step aside. Or if you're doing something for work and you just cannot concentrate because those thoughts just keep on popping in. As soon as I put it on a paper, I'm like at peace. It's on a paper. I'm not going to forget them. I no longer have to think about it. Then I can take it and I can plan it out, whatever is the priority. But it's not in my head. Just clear your mind, and it's going to make you so much more efficient and effective and productive. I promise you will be amazed. Like it's such a simple thing, but I probably do it once a week or once every other week. Every time I feel like overwhelmed, get a piece of paper and just dump it all out.
I love it. Do you keep a notebook or do you keep your notes in your phone handy or anything like when something random pops up outside of the brain dump? Do you do anything with those things?
It depends. If I'm at home, because I don't carry my planner around, I'm a paper planner all the way. I just love writing things down. So if I'm at home, I'll put it on a paper. If I like in my planner. If I'm somewhere else, I'll usually put it in my phone in the notes. app, that's what I usually put it because it's just quickest that way. If it's something that I know like I have to remember, I'll just set up an alarm. Like I know I'm gonna get home in 2 hours. I put an alarm, and as soon as it rings, I'm gonna know, well, this is what you have to do. And if all else fail, like if I really am trying to remember something, I'll put like a mark with a pen on my hand. It's like, and every time I'm like, why am I? Is my hand dirty? I'm like, oh, I had to do something. So it's silly things like that, but it just helps me like remember. So my head is not constantly clogged with those thoughts.
I love that. I love it. And those are, I mean, they're simple things, and it's just
Yeah.
remembering, okay, get it off, get it out of my head, put it on paper. And honestly, I do this at night. Except I don't use a notebook or anything because at night when I lay down for bed, of course I'm going to think of 500 things I have to do, but I don't want to turn on the light. I don't want to get a notebook. So I tell my husband, "Can you text me this? Oh, can you text me this?" So he texts me. So in the morning I have these things. And I
Oh,
just
that's a
write
good
them down.
one.
But yeah, if you don't, because I don't have my phone near me either. I don't leave my phone in my bedroom. And so yeah, and he has his. He's on it usually when I'm going to bed. So I'm like, okay, text me. It's great. So
Oh,
maybe
that's so
you have a
fun.
spouse who will be he'll do that for you too if you're, because I can't go to sleep. I don't know about you, but it's the same. It's like when it's in your head, you're just gonna dwell on it until it gets out.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I love it. Okay, so we're already to our final third tip. What do you got for us?
So the last and final one is to concentrate on your priorities. Like you might have a to-do list each day that is a very long. Start with your priorities. Like make sure that those get done. Because if you're gonna get to the, I know I had those days. Like I am busy all day long doing something. I get to the end of it, and I feel like I have nothing to show for it. Like, well, what have I done? Like I don't, I've been busy, but have I been productive? Have I actually accomplished anything? So it's a shift because I tend to do like little things in the morning. That's how I used to be. Like if I have 5 items, I'll check off the quick ones first. But then as the day progresses, like different things will pop up, and I never get to the one that I need to do. So try to stick to your priorities first. A lot of times I feel like we also concentrate on the quantity of items that we can cross off the list. Just yesterday, so I had a really long list yesterday over the weekend, and one of the items was to prepare for a job interview I had this morning, and I had to choose between still prepping for the interview or cleaning like 3 items in the kitchen. And I really was sitting there like, well, what should I do? I'm like, and then I was like, really, you really have to debate which one you should do. The kitchen can wait. The interview prep, not so much. So and it's silly, but it's like those are the thoughts. I'm like, well, I could cross off 3 items. And it's like, don't no, give yourself some grace. Concentrate on what's really important. And it's fine if you don't get something else done. It's really fine.
That's so funny. I love it because I'm the same way. I make these lists or whatever, and then I know what's important. I know what I need to get done. But I think I have these 5 really quick things I could do. And if I do them, I can cross them off. And I like seeing things cross off. Sometimes I'll write things down that I did so I can cross it off if it's not on my
Oh,
list. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I'm the one who's going to lose my list, but whatever. So, but yeah, and I think I struggle with that a lot. And I know that I need to do my priority. I need to do what's important because otherwise, yep, the day goes on and kids need me or whatever, and then I forget to do it, and then it's the end of the day and I no longer want to. I don't know. Do you have like a really good hack for that? Like something that would motivate us to decide to do our priorities first?
figure out like what, because each person is motivated by something else. Like if everything else fails, I'll like promise myself, well, if I do this one, I can, I don't know, get a piece of chocolate, or I can watch something on YouTube, like kind of reward yourself in a way. Like it's silly. It's
Mhm.
like with kids, but it's like find what's gonna motivate you, and that's gonna help you like switch over from going from quantity to actually the quality of what you need to do on your to-do list.
Ooh, I love it. That would be ice cream for me. Or Christmas movies.
Or that, yeah.
Christmas, but the boys, they thought it was funny. This is so off topic, but we don't usually start watching Christmas movies until the day after Thanksgiving, just like we don't decorate until after. But this year was just different. Like 2020 was different. So I started watching them in like November right away, and they were like, oh dear, but it's fine. Thankfully, they like watching them, but now not till next year now. So, oh, I love this. So this time management, these 3 tips, I mean, they're easy to do, but they're easy not to do. It's really about being intentional about them and focusing in on them and making them a priority. So the first tip Marta had was planning. Plan. Just take the time to plan. And obviously our plans may shift, and that's okay. We have to be flexible in them, but the planning part is actually important. Otherwise, nothing's ever going to get done. The second tip was brain dump. Get everything out of your head so it is no longer in there and you can actually do the work. And then the third tip is to concentrate on the priorities first. And if you're like me and you have a hard time doing that because you want to check off 5 things instead of 1, reward yourself. I love that the rewards that Marta talked about is find that thing that's going to motivate you, because it might not motivate someone else, like chocolate or ice cream does for me, but find that reward and use it. And sometimes, I think a reward for me would be if I get my priority done, I don't have to do anything else. For the day. No, just kidding. Anyway, this was great. Thank you so much, Marta, for joining us on Red Hot Mindset today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And if you want to get more of these great tips, see some videos, see her in action, you can find her on Imperfect Life Balance on YouTube or on Instagram or on the blog.